morning. My name's Linda. I'm from Brisbane, cold at the moment, Australia. Because, of course, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, you're experiencing the heat wave. And at the moment, we're actually experiencing a cooler than normal wave. Because in Queensland, even in winter, we don't often get into the woolies, but we certainly are at the moment. Are you enjoying the weather where you are? Or do you, we can spend time going, oh, in 6 months, summer will be here, it'll be all good, or in 6 months, winter will be here and it'll be even better. Aren't we funny how we as humans can be different and appreciate and enjoy? Hi, Sandra, lovely to have you here with me. It's wonderful. This day, you know how Facebook sends you those memories? And this day 2 years ago, I actually put a photo up of me in 3 layers of clothing because we just don't have that here. Do you have that where you are, or do you wear more than 3 layers? But I have a question for you today. And it's probably a series of questions which are actually quite self-reflective and want to get you thinking about what's happening in your life. So I want to ask you, what does trauma look like for you in your life? And look, if there's anything that we talk about this morning and you feel like you need to private message me, you're more than welcome to. Trauma can look different for people because, one, we're all different and we are actually all having different lives. We might have, as the latest saying is, a tribe around us where things look similar and we can relate. But ultimately what's happening at that personal level in our lives is that it's going to be something different. Okay, and we need professionals around us who understand that difference. We don't want the cookie cutter responses for the differences that are in our lives. 3 or 4. Sandra wears 3 or 4 in winter. Oh my word! I've never lived anywhere where we wear 4, Sandra. So in our lives, trauma will come with multiple facets that come into it. So trauma, it might be one word, but the multifaceted things that come in to build trauma into our lives will be different for all of us. So if you're going through grief, so death in the family, and also death comes as multi-layered. If you go through divorce, you can experience grief at the death of a dream. So you think about it, when you first get married or even begin to build a life with someone, we factor into our lives what that dream could look like. And when you're together, you keep building towards that dream. You might do things individually, but you know that corporately, overall, you're building into it together. Okay? So when that dream that you believe that you were working together for falls apart at the seams, you are going to experience grief. And around that, it can be very traumatic too, because it's very heartbreaking. And oftentimes, when our heart's breaking, we don't even have the words for it. So think about, when your heart's breaking, do you have the language that goes with it? Or are you feeling like it's all stuck on the inside and you don't know which way to go with it, which direction? So if you were to put any of it into words, and again, if you've just hopped online, you can put it in a private message to me, I don't mind at all. What does trauma look like for you? For some people, it's having to deal daily with a special needs child where we can go through days and not have answers at all. And that in itself, when it impacts on the inside of us and it's very heartbreaking, it can feel like, when is this going to end? And it's not that you change your life for quids, but it does become traumatic because we're keeping everything on the inside, okay? And we need to reach out for help to get through these times, to equip ourselves in I was going to say directional, but it's not directional, but multifaceted. So there's always different layers. So when we're looking at our lives, we have to be aware of when we're stuck in our head and we're trying to go, right, this is the way it is, this is what I've been diagnosed with, this is what's happening in my life, this is what I've got to cope with, and sometimes I don't even have the words for what I'm going through. So when you bring all that together, it's going to look like something different for you than if it was in somebody else's life. It really is. So what does it look like for you? What does the trauma look like? And how would you like to approach getting through the trauma? And here's the thing. It's got to be personalised for you. It cannot be a cookie cutter. Here it is. One solution fits all. One size fits all. Rather like clothes when you think about it. They go, oh, one size fits all. Yeah, did you get the message that I'm not actually in that one size fits all category? And that's life. We've got to be able to have people around us that understand that not one size fits all. Actually, you know what? We should do that. We should put a meme up that says not one size fits all and apply it to our lives. I think that's where I get incredibly passionate about helping people, because not one size fits all. Anyhow, if you were to even think, where am I putting myself in a box and where do I need to expand myself? That'd be a good question for you, even just for today. Because then you're going to have moments where you're going to allocate what you are doing and then go, right, well, what can I do differently that'll change the outcome of where I want to be, what I want to do. And even when we're dealing with our kids, we can ask those questions and say, what do I want to do differently? How can I go about this from a different angle? So then we examine the angle that we're coming from, and then we go, right, well, I want to try something different. I don't think I've told you before, I did this with my kids. You know when kids are just fighting and they're driving you nuts and you want to tear your hair out. Fortunately, I've got nice thick hair. Could tear it out a few times. But when my kids were fighting and I did all the, the cookie cutter, I do this, the instruction manual that you don't have but you can make up as you go along. And then it just didn't work. And initially I taught them to say sorry from their heart to each other. I'll discern who's right and who's wrong. But as they got older, that just didn't work because life changes. And so then I realised, well, I had to sit back and I go, well, I've done that and that hasn't worked. That's not working. They're still fighting. What am I going to do? So what I did was, in the end, I got sick of it. And I just said to them, okay, this is how it is. You're both going to stand here until both of you, I don't care who said what to who, I don't care who started it, you're both in on it. Let's do this. You're going to say sorry to each other. Sorry, I'm just remembering two very stubborn children standing there in front of each other, I'm not doing this. And from your heart, okay? And it has to come from your heart. There's a whole big difference when an apology comes from your heart. And so one would say it, and that's okay, they get it, okay, I'm sorry, The other one would stand there. And bless him, my oldest son will remember this. He could be very stubborn. Don't know where he got that from. But he got the message, and I taught him how to breathe down into his heart, like let go, stop holding on so tight, stop having your brain, it's got to be this way, and, let's just be here for each other. And that's what we do in life. When we do life together, we are here for each other, irrespective of right or wrong. Let's just be here for each other. Okay? So you go and do something differently today and see what the outcome is. Get creative. The first thing you decide to change might not be the ultimate solution you go with. But as you go through each solution, you will find a way through, a creative way through, into having a different outcome to whatever you're facing today. Bless you all. If you're here for the replay, #replay. I really appreciate you all showing up. I've got to go. I have another appointment today. So I will talk to you soon. Any questions or comments, hit me up down below. If you're watching the YouTube replay, feel free to subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.